come on in. Nice to see you. Keep your applause going. Mark Kelly is going to be in the red chair. I'm a really big fan of Mark Kelly. When we first started here at CBC, Mark was always very kind to us. He's a fearless journalist. Mark has lots of experience chasing down stories, cracks them open. But the question everybody wants to know is, Mark, who in the celebrity world would you like to date? You know what his answer would be? Bieber. It wouldn't be Bieber. It's cold, Canada. It's figuratively colder than Kevin O'Leary's stare at an environmental drum circle. It is colder than Prime Minister Harper's withering glower of disapproval every time we dare talk back. If you want to keep warm, there's things you obviously know. At this stage, if I have to tell you to wear layers, you're on your own, pal. But eat a good breakfast tomorrow. Kickstarts the metabolism, gets that furnace going, if you know what I'm saying. Or, and I think this is probably more important, share your body heat. It's the Canadian thing to do. It's the Canadian way. Little recommendation, ask the person you touch beforehand. Or if you really want to get warmed up, just Google Rob Ford apologies. By the third insincere sorry, your blood will boil.
And I say, leave me alone, man. They got 5 months from him. And him trying to tell me, bro, we're counter-surveilling the guy, you know what I mean? He's hiding here, I'm hiding here. Oh, we don't know. How much money that cost me? I said, bro, just cut some. No, man, no money, man. Cha! Man.
If you, unbelievable. I'll never forget. By the way, if you're making plans to make yourself down in New Jersey, you want to go to MetLife Stadium, you think you're going to go catch the big game, the Super Bowl out now, listen, I was just there not that long ago. I'm going to tell you the parking sucks, and there's no place for your car to drop you off if you're choosing to have a ride. So now the organizers inside the NFL, they're telling the fans to take the trains and the buses to the Super Bowl. Let me tell you something. Nobody who can afford a Super Bowl ticket has ridden a bus at all. Let's deal with today. Listen, I have a tendency to go off on these kind of tangerines, and I don't really want to. I'm not in the business of criticizing another reporter's questions. It's not helpful. It's not my business. I've had lots of interviews where I ask an absolutely dumb question. However, I think we can all agree, in no universe is it a legitimate question to any athlete, female, male, transgendered, other. There's no way to ask somebody, especially after a game, who do you want to date? I don't get that. But what was so fascinating to me was the outrage that people had. Athletes are entertainers. Full stop. That's it. Athletes are entertainers. Those people who were so outraged that they would dare ask Eugenie Bouchard that question quietly went away and picked up their Us Weekly and wanted to see who Jennifer Lawrence was sleeping with. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Full stop. I don't think they're appropriate questions in either context. Granted, I'm not sure which was worse, the question or Genie's answer. But maybe her desire to date Bieber is because she's Canadian and she has that rooted need to nurture him and get him back on the right path. So in that case, God love you, Genie, and well done. How great is that for a Canadian to do so well, right? Atta girl. All right. So that's just one thing that I sort of wanted to get out of the way. I want to talk about another thing right now, something that we are concerned of. Listen, it's the C word, okay? I want to talk about the C word. It's a scary word, okay? It describes our collective drive over the centuries to express ourselves, add art and meaning to our lives, maybe to prove to ourselves that we are more evolved than basic animals. It's what's that? It starts with C. What is it? Culture. Culture, right? That's the spice. You ever have one of those days like, how did our culture just die and shrivel up like an old prune? Now, anthropologists don't know for sure, but they guess, and I think a lot of people would agree, they guess it's right about the exact second that The Bachelor went to air. And I know you watch it, and a lot of you watch it to feel better about yourselves, and I guess that's okay. And this is the newest archetype of focus grouped corporate masculinity, which is as clueless as ever, proving once again that some of us simply don't think.
Do you think it would be a good idea at some point to have a gay or bisexual bachelor?
No.
Why not?
Just because I respect them, but honestly, I don't think it's a good example for kids to watch that on TV. It's hard. It's hard. It's a very thin line.
Why isn't it a good example? A straight person choosing a mate from a horse stable is okay like you? But a a gay person doing so is not, right? The job bachelor, or I suppose the job of the guy or the hopefuls with that space available on their ring finger, doesn't really require the resume of an intellectual ninja. But again, let's provide some kindergarten math for you, okay, guy? Gay is human, gay is normal, gay is everyday A-OK, 2 + 2 is 4. He did have an apology, but it was whack, because it wasn't followed by, I was wrong and have since grown. And you don't really want to get your morality lessons from a dude trying to prima noctu 20 girls on TV before sending them home without so much as even a rose. Now, if that kind of celebrity nonsense... Do roses even work? I think they do. If that type... I wouldn't know, right? I wouldn't know. So, if that type of celebrity nonsense isn't necessarily your thing, check this.
I'm Tanya Collins, and it's been a busy week. Coming up on Gossip Today, Jeff.
Working 15-hour days just to feed her kids. Why this single mom can't make ends meet.
Not enough money for secondhand shoes. Sarah Campbell cuts her shopping trip short. And look who we found. Marlene Jones talks about her family's struggles with money.
All this and more coming up next.
What if we cared about those living in poverty as much as we care about celebrities?
It's such a great ad. It's from a very clever and pointed new campaign by this WoodGreen Community Services, which is a nonprofit right here in the T-Dizzle. It helps people who are homeless or struggling to get by. Drake Nation is how I like to call it. It's in Drake Nation, right? Look, he made the Raptors better, so whatever Drake wants, I'm in. But it's a really cool organization trying to find affordable housing, get higher education, and improve the quality of life for people. Of course, helping each other often depends on finances. Countries will always say our economy is a big indicator of what we can get away with, and often our economy follows the fate of the loonie. The Canadian dollar is down again. It's sitting at a very pretty 91 cents American. Some of us of a certain vintage go, I remember when it was in their 60s, when clearly we were from Arkansas. Now, we were at parity or above the US dollar for a few years, and at that time I was living at the Walmart in Buffalo because I was all about getting, hey, I got an Airstream, what do you want, right? But don't fret, you glorious people. There is a silver lining to everything, and there's some brighter sides to a dropping dollar. Number one, exports are always more attractive to Americans when the dollar dips, right? We have a couple of products people have been dying to send south of the border. We've got a couple that we can send you at any point. Also... It also means that more American movies will be shot, across the border and closer to you, so your chances of seeing a Hemsworth brother has just increased by 80%. That's your debrief.